Hello, this is Keith Owen. Today's tutorial is going to be how you can create a blur reflection text effect in Photoshop. Now, what you see on the screen is what we're going to be creating together. So basically, we're going to create, at the end, we're going to create a vignette around this text layer. And then we're going to create, of course, change the background color. And the text is going to be blurred at one end, and it's going to be more sharper towards the beginning of the text. And of course, we're going to distort this text layer a bit. And we're also going to be creating a reflection, a direct reflection of what we see up here on the top. So let's go over here and create a new document, and let's get started. So our first step, of course, select the document size of your choice in that. And then let's first create a solid adjustment fill layer. And we do that by coming over here to the layers panel. And let's select the adjustment layer icon and select solid color. Select the color of your choice. I'm just going to type in a value here. E50102, and then we're going to click OK. Now our next step is we're going to add some text. So we're going to use the text tool, and I'm going to type in the word blur. Either press enter or select the check mark up here in the options bar to accept that. And now let's move this text to an area of our choice. I'm using the move tool. I'm just going to select it to be right about there. And now what we want to do is we want to be able to distort this text. Now in order to distort it, we must convert it to a smart object. So right now if I press Control T to try to transform it and right click, you can see that the distort option is not available. So what we first must do is convert this to a smart object. So we're going to right click on the text layer and select the option Convert to Smart Object. So once we do that, we can go back here and press Control T, right click, and now the distort option is available to us. So we're going to select that. And now I'm on a PC, so I'm going to be using the shortcut key, the Shift and Alt, as I click and drag a toggle or an anchor point. So what we want to do in this particular situation, we want to create the following effect. So we're going to hold the Shift key, Alt, then click and drag this top left toggle and just drag it up. So we have that type of an effect. Now let's press enter to accept that change. Now what we want to do is we want to blur this section of the text and make this sharper on this end. So we come up here to the filter menu, select filter, blur gallery, and then field blur. Okay, now it has a pinpoint here. So we can click and drag this pinpoint anywhere we want. I'm going to drag it to the end of the text, and I'm going to come over here to the right where we have a Blur Tools tab. And now we can adjust the blur any way we want by either clicking and dragging and sliding this. As you can see, the text is becoming more blur. So we're going to keep it to right around about 20 pixels. Okay, now we're going to create a second pinpoint. So we can select here at the beginning of the text and just click on it. Creates a second blur pinpoint that we can adjust. Now we're going to either slide this toggle up here in the upper right, or select, type in the pixels that we want. We want it to be 0 pixels. So as you can see, now the front of the text is now clearer and sharper. Let's readjust this blur effect down here. So let's select it first, and let's come over here and let's adjust the blurriness. Let's bring it down to text 10 pixels. Let's try 12. Okay, that looks good. Now, after we're done with these changes, just come up here to the options bar and click OK. Okay, now that we've done the distorting of the text and blurring it, now we want to create a reflection of this. So in order to do that, we're going to duplicate this layer. So we want to make sure this current layer is selected, and for a shortcut key on the PC, it's Control J. So we've done that. So it created a duplicate layer now. Now what we want to do is we want to create the reflection of this. In order to do that, let's press Control T to transform it. Select OK to this message. And all we have to do now is hover over this top middle anchor point, and the cursor turns to a double arrow. So we're just going to click and drag this straight down, and it inverts this text. So now press enter. As you can see, it creates a direct reflection of this text. Now our last step is to create like a vignette around this. But also, let's first decrease the opacity on this level, this reflection level. So we're going to make sure that level, that layer is selected. Let's come over here to the Layers panel, and let's decrease the opacity. As you can see what it does to the text. So let's keep it right around 50%. There we have it. Okay, now we've done that. Now let's create the vignette. So we want to create that vignette just above the adjustment layer, which is this layer right here, which is the color fill layer. So we want to make sure that layer is selected. And let's now do an adjustment layer on that. So we're going to select the adjustment layer icon, and we're going to select levels. Okay, now let's go up here to the Properties tab, and if this doesn't show up, all you have to do is go up to the menu, select Window, and then select Properties here, and that will show up. So what we want to do is we want to take this toggle point here and adjust. What it's going to do is going to take the bright colors and darken them up a little bit. So as I drag this, you'll see what happens to the background. So let's drag this to the left. See how it's taking bright and turning them a little bit dark. So let's just select it at this level here. So we've done that. And now what we want to do is select we want to make sure we select the mask thumbnail on the levels layer that we just created. So we're on a levels layer here. We want to make sure we select this thumbnail mask right here. Now we want to use the brush tool to create our vignette. So let's come over here to the brush tool. Select that. We want to make sure, our opacity is set to 100% and our flow is set to 100%. And we want to make it a hard brush. So we want to select the hard brush here. Once we do that, now we also want to make sure your foreground color is set to black. So make sure that is done. And now what we want to do is we just want to just make a dab. In other words, click right here on the text. So let's just click once. And as you can see, it makes uses the brush to create a mark. Now what we want to do is we want to press Control T, and we want to transform this dab that we just made into like an oval or vignette. So we just take use the middle pinpoint or anchor, drag it up. We want to take this one, the side here, drag it out. Let's click in the middle to center it. Let's still make some adjustments to the top and sides. Let's see, we still make some adjustments here. Okay. Now once we do that, we can press enter. And now what we want to do is select the mask thumbnail on the levels layer, which is it's already selected. And we want to now feather this edge out. So we come up here to the properties tab up here and see this feather slider here. Let's slide it to the right and watch what happens. And it creates that effect. So adjust it to the level that you're comfortable with. And there you have it. And that's how we can create a blurred reflection text effect in Photoshop. I want to thank you for stopping by today. Hopefully you learned some new skill sets in your Photoshop editing techniques. And please subscribe to my channel and also click on that bell notification so you will always get updated whenever I create a new video. And also please like, share, and comment, because that helps out the community, helps you out, and also helps me out to create new ideas, and also helps me teach better too. So again, I want to thank you for stopping by. You have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye now.